No, I did not think that I had COVID originally. A lot of times in the summertime get a summer cold is what I call it, or something. I don't really have sinus or allergy issues, and so I just was feeling a little bit of a sore throat on a Thursday. Started taking over-the-counter stuff to combat that, and 2 or 3 days later I was just feeling congestion, but I was around friends. I mean, I had no idea that I might test positive, and my wife and I were going to leave and go on a vacation, and I wanted to get some antibiotic just to try and help that congestion issue, and the personal physician recommended that I get tested, and at first I was like, what? Because I just didn't have any idea. I wasn't having any other symptoms. I had a very mild fever, but I wasn't tired, I wasn't out of breath, I wasn't anything. And so I went to get tested about 4 or 5 days after that initial, sore throat experience. And basically you could have knocked me over with a feather when they told me I was positive. And so when I found that out, obviously I just self-quarantined and till I ran its course. I had heart surgery 3 years ago. I had a valve replaced, and so I guess obviously there's always some concern. I don't feel it. I mean, I've been active at the ranch, and I do play golf a lot, and I'm an outdoor person and a very active person. As a matter of fact, the day before I got tested, I was actually working cattle and spent the morning on my horse gathering cattle and working. So I just feel like I didn't have any idea that I was gonna test positive, as I said. I felt a little weaker than normal, but I wasn't trying to do any ranch work or anything. I stayed in the house, and I monitored my temperature, like every 3 hours, and I was just taking Tylenol on a recommended frequency basis just to help control the temperature. But I didn't have a cough, I didn't have a sore throat, I didn't have nausea or feeling tired. Just didn't quite feel my usual strength, but basically I just felt like it would be smarter to not push the envelope, so to speak, and just take it easy and get over it. And it's been 8 days now that I've not had any fever. Of course, because of my heart condition, I'm on some baby aspirin for a blood thinner, and I've got some blood pressure medication. And basically I just continued taking my normal dosage of that. But as far as the fever, controlling that, it was never really very high, maybe 101.5 a day or something. Normally it was just be 99 something. And in the mornings I would get up and wake up, and actually it was lower than the 98.6 standard. And then by the afternoon is when it would tend to go up. And it's kind of funny because it seemed like at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon is when it would hit me with a little bit of a spike. And I didn't quite understand that, because I could be kind of fine during the day, and then late in the afternoon I'd get it. But that was pretty much it. When I came to San Angelo to go to the grocery store or anything, I always had a mask on, and I carried sanitizer in my truck and things like that. As I said, I do like to play golf, and I was going to the golf course, and I would not wear a mask at the golf course, but basically was around the same people, and we were still doing kind of social distancing, but probably not as much as could have been. But of course, after I was diagnosed, I let my golf friends know that I was tested positive, and just so they could, be aware, anybody that I'd been in close proximity to. And nobody that I know of has been diagnosed with it. And my wife, she got tested twice and was negative both times. And of course at the house we were practicing social distancing as much as we could, but it was still probably a few times where we were maybe a little closer, but we were being very careful about the things that we handled, or food preparation or things like that. She was doing that and then setting a plate out for me to get and all that sort of thing. I can't say that I do because I really don't know. I thought I was really practicing the things that were necessary, and of course all the things you read and heard about at my age, a lot of people were not surviving, and but overall, even though I had that heart surgery, I'm pretty healthy. My cardiologist tells me I'm in really good condition for a person my age, and my personal physician says I'm in, good shape, and I try to take care of myself, relatively speaking, as well as I can. I can't run marathons, for example, but I do work actively on a working ranch, and as I said, I do play golf, try to a couple of days a week, just try to stay active, and so I really wouldn't know. I don't think, well, if somebody told you, yeah, if you go to the golf course and you don't have a mask on, then you might get sick, I probably would have thought a little bit more about it, or maybe been a little more diligent about social distancing, but I just don't know where I could have contracted this, and I don't know how I would have done things differently, honestly. Feel like I've got 100% of my strength, don't feel any congestion. I could definitely tell when I was sick that I had, my head felt like it had a band around it, just from, and I could breathe okay. I never had to breathe through my mouth. I was breathing through my nose all the time. I was testing my O2 level as well as my temperature basically every 3 hours, and my O2 level never dropped below, what they call a lower level, which is like a 93, 94, and oftentimes it'd be at a 95 or 6. So I really felt like pretty good, honestly, most of the time. Just didn't feel like doing anything. Definitely wear a mask if you have to go into a public place. Practice social distancing as much as possible. And if you don't have to go somewhere, stay at home. I know that's difficult. I get cabin fever and I live out in the country. And that's nice because I can just get out of my house and drive around my ranch and go check water or look at my cattle or do something like that. But I just think people need to be more cautious and definitely practice what the recommendations are for social distance, wearing a mask, keeping the hands clean. I don't think they know 100% that this isn't an airborne thing, or that you could pick up a piece of paper, a simple thing like doing a credit card transaction, different things like that. I just don't think they know or we know how you might contract this, and the least amount of interaction you can have, I think, is better. Just because I've had it, I don't rule out the possibility that I could get it again. I think I was lucky that my case didn't seem to be as severe as a lot of people, obviously, especially given my age and my, say, underlying health conditions. But I do think that, you know, physically, I'm able to do a lot of things probably that people my age can't do, and so I take pretty good care of myself, trying to stay healthy. And all I can say is, you know, just practice what they're asking us to do and hope for the best.